Hey guys, Jazzy here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 new unlocks for the American side, which were released in the Tunisia update, which came out about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I can't remember, but I've unlocked all of them now. It's been a bit of a grind, but I managed to get all of them, and of course those being the Bazooka at level 30, 31 having the M10 Wolverine, and of course Assaulter 3 with the M1 Thompson coming at level 32, which is again pretty cool. So we've got pretty much, I'm going to be covering the Bazooka, which of course comes on its own. I'm going to be covering the Wolverine and the Tanker 3 squad, and I'm also going to be covering the Thompson and the Assaulter 3 and their squad. Now of course this is of course quite early, and of course I have had some experience with these squads obviously, but again, this is going to be early stuff, so this could change. This could be a bit inaccurate a little bit later on the line. But this is my impressions on them. Anyway, let's move on to the first unlock, which is the Bazooka. Now, the Bazooka is, of course, the first unlock you get from the new update. Of course, you get it at level 30. It's essentially supposed to be an upgrade to the Piat, but in reality, since the Piat was so powerful, can the Bazooka really counter this? Probably not, actually. Now, in some cases, I've actually found that the Piat is actually better than the Bazooka. Like, I found the Piat to be more reliable than the Bazooka. But I've only really had a couple uses of the Bazooka. And let's just face it, it generally could be a lot worse. Like, I know how powerful even though I do rate up the Sturm pistol, it's still not as good as other weapons. Now, I will say, though, that the Bazooka is still pretty good. It is very reliable and can still take out tanks like the Panzer IV, like the Panther. Again, it can still do what the Piat does. It's very powerful and it's more of a LARP option. Like, the Piat and the Bazooka are both very good options, regardless. So with that being said, I would say this is actually a good side grade. Now, of course, if you get a Bazooka from a weapon drop, I usually would put it over the Piat for LARP mostly, but it's still very powerful. It's kind of like the Bren BAR, where the Bren is still incredibly powerful, but the BAR is, again, LARP. BARs are still really good as well. Anyways, let's move on to the M10 and the Tanker 3 squad. Now, this is actually going to be the more interesting one, because I think this is actually the worst upgrade out of the 3. Now, I won't say this one, I'll say this first. The M10 is not a bad vehicle, and the Tanker 3s are not bad. It's kind of like an M8 Scott upgrade rather than a full-on direct upgrade. Now, of course, it is pretty much similar to the M8 Scott, as in your commander will get sniped instantly, and there are some drawbacks to it, like there's no machine gun, there's no coax machine gun, you have to use the commander machine gun, which can be a bit annoying at times, especially when you have 3 crew members, because it means that you can't actually use the driver so until you're not a 4th crew member, you're going to be very, very underpowered with the machine gun. You're not going to be good at close range, and you're going to be a little bit lacking. Despite this, however, it is by far the best American tank for taking on armoured vehicles. Now, of course, everyone says the Jumbo is overpowered, but really, the Panther will beat the Jumbo in most situations. The Panther, I've been one-on-one with a Panther, and I've beaten it with the M10. I've not been a Panther with a Jumbo yet. So, it's really powerful against tanks. It's more of a situation vehicle, kind of like that one in Tunisia, the Italian tank destroyer. But compared to the Jumbo, which is a much better tank all-round, it's going to be lacking. Now, I will say that it is still very powerful, and I will still use it over the other Tanker 1 squad. So, it's not a complete write-off, but again, there's going to be a few better options which you can pick from in the like the Jumbo. So it's fun to use though, but the problem is, again, it's got some issues with it. Mostly no coaxial machine gun. The turret takes a year and a half to turn 90 degrees. So you have to really reliably turn the vehicle like it's a fixed gun, rather than using the actual, rotation most of the time. Now, there are some... Also, the HE is kind of a bit weak. Like, I don't really have too many consistent kills with this thing. So the HE is a little bit weak. However, it is still a pretty decent side grade. And of course, you get it in a separate squad. So you don't have to replace the Jumbo which is actually a good relief, sigh of relief. So it means that if you have, say, 3 vehicle squads, you can still have a Sherman, a Jumbo, and a Wolverine at the same time, which is still pretty powerful if you can pull them off. Anyways, with that being said, let's move on to the final unlock, which is the Thompson. Much like when Berlin got released, the Thompson is the final upgrade for the tech tree in Normandy. Now, of course, this time it's actually coming with a squad, the Assaulter 3 squads, which I generally have had a few experience with. They're pretty much Assaulter 2s, same thing as Assaulter 2s, really powerful, better perks, and generally will be quite useful. Now, of course, I know the Axis get the MP34, no, 43, 34, no, that's the MG34. They get the MP43, which is, of course, the prerequisite of the STG44. And, of course, they get the Thompson here. Now, this Thompson is kind of on the same pay grade as the Thompson, in my opinion, as the regular Thompson. Now, of course, the Thompson is still a fantastic weapon. The Thompson has a faster fire rate than the A1 Thompson, but the A1 Thompson is much easier to use in mid-range situations. So really, this is kind of, again, more like a side grade. Kind of like the Stem Lancaster. Actually, not like the Stem Lancaster. Kind of like the grease guns, with the A1 being better than the base grease gun. This one's, again, is slightly worse than the M1A1 Thompson, but it's still a pretty reliable option, and in my opinion, it's actually still quite good compared to the other rifles you can use, compared to the other SMGs that you can use. It's definitely better than the Stem, it's better than the Lancaster, but then again, most things are. The Thompsons are. And of course, it's much better than the grease guns. Now, I will say that this is a very, very powerful weapon, and it's still one of the better weapons of the game. It's just that the A1 is a better weapon, and being honest, Assaulter 3 it's a good upgrade. Don't get me wrong. You can use 3 Assaulter squads now, so you can constantly spam out Assaulter squads. But when you compare it to other stuff, like you could have unlocked, like what the Axis have with the MP43, which I'm going to be seeing a lot of. I've been seeing quite a few MP43s recently. They're going to be like the FG42, unfortunately. But yeah, this is still a very, very, very solid weapon, and in my opinion, it's one of the better ones. This has just been my view on this new weapon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments on these weapons, and the tank, obviously. Tank Destroyer, obviously. If you've unlocked them, of course, share your views on them. Obviously, if you've unlocked the Axis ones as well, how do they stack up? I haven't unlocked the Axis yet, because I'm only like level 14 on the Axis. Anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.